Hi, it's Dave at AFX Title and TitleSearch.com. Since many of our clients are foreclosure investors and looking to buy foreclosure or distressed properties, one of the subjects that comes up is how do you get leads for foreclosures or or short sales? Well, one thing you can do is outsource the lead generation. You can buy lists. There's many sources of good foreclosure lists that are out there. The question is the list good or bad? Is this something you want to outsource? If you're a new investor looking to get into the industry, a lot of times cost is a factor to make sure that you're not going to spend too much money getting into the business. Doing your own foreclosure lead generation might be a way to do that. Well, how's that done? Well, first of all, what type of property are you looking for? That may be a way to filter their criteria. Are the properties you're looking for in a certain geographic location, certain neighborhood? Is it a certain dollar amount of property? Maybe a certain loan value might be your criteria. The property foreclosure status, is it in a notice of default? Is it a lis pendens? Is it a full-blown foreclosure where it's coming up for auction? How old is the loan? Was the loan given out in 2002 or 2009? The age of the loan sometimes is something that certain investors look for. The date of the mortgage. And how old is the original foreclosure filing? Once you understand the criteria and what type, then you can figure out where to get the records from. The way that all records are generated, even from list sources, are from the official land county records. They're pulled from the records, they're collated, and they're made into a list. You can do that yourself. It takes time, it takes effort. If you're a new investor and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you could spend a few hours in the land records pulling these documents, pulling the foreclosure notices, and getting good information. If you buy a list, just make sure that it's current. Ask the provider how old that list is. Has the list been sold 20 times in the last year? Sometimes these foreclosure records are things that are long since been sold through auction, long since been redeemed. Sometimes they've been pulled from foreclosure because the bank took it back or did a short sale. So you want to make sure that the list is current. Check the ratings on your provider so that you know that it's current information on the list. Sometimes the lowest price provider isn't the best way to go because, if something costs $1 but it's useless, you wasted $1, even if it's cheaper than something else. So an old list, especially if you're looking to contact the owners to do a short sale or some other type of broker in the deal, is not going to be worthwhile if it's old, stale information. With regard to contacting a foreclosed owner, where is that contact information coming from? If you buy a list from a list broker or some foreclosure list provider, look, contact information doesn't show up on a title. So if you go down to the land records, pull these foreclosures, it doesn't have their phone number on the records. If the provider is giving you a phone number, where are they getting that from? Is it just from information? Is it from some other source? May not be correct. The property address may not be the best address to contact the homeowner. A lot of times they get tons of stuff in the mail, especially if they're in foreclosure. They might be throwing away notices. Sending a mailed letter may not get good response. You may have to go knock on doors, and that's a separate part of that investment process. So that information is not on title. So should you do it yourself or send it out? Well, if you're a new investor, doing it yourself might give you some practice in looking at real estate records. It might give you some practice in seeing what the activity is in the courthouse, in the land records. You might see new filings come in that maybe aren't on any list yet. You might see the way that some investors are there looking at filings and which properties they're getting involved in. So when you first start out, doing it yourself might be good. List brokers might be an idea, or even title companies or abstractors that are in land records every day might be able to create these lists for you in a way that's usable. But start out by finding out what's your criteria. Is it geographic? Is it dollar amount? And then filtering the list that way so you don't end up with too many leads and you have enough to go on to find the right property to invest in.